They've taken this world from us, cast us into an uncertain future. Earth is no longer ours. It is ruined.
It's time to stand up tall.
Once we were the peak of evolution, bending the laws of nature to our whim. But our legacy has been taken from us.
The rise and the fall.
This is the age of a new breed.
Every empire.
The age of Homo Degenesis.
There's no other. There's no other. There's no other. There's no other. No.
Remember, Fallberg, there will be days of war. But there will come a day when we have to sacrifice everything.
Welcome back to the final episode of Degenesis, Blood Legacy. We're joined with our two remaining surviving heroes of quotations. Got Ian playing Magnus and Aki playing Callen. This is going to be the first episode with different music. Fanburst is down, so gotta rely on my new resources. Anyone want to do a quick recap from the last session when we left off?
Oh, fucking hell, we did so many things. We did so many horrible, horrible things.
I think the song Blood, Water, Fire pretty much sums up what happened last time.
Yeah, really. Yeah, so I believe our buddy died. We slept in a forest. Bad shit's happening over at I guess that would be the, brain forgot east from west for a second there. It's the East Gate. Lots of insects, which we are very worried about. We found the good doctor. Found out that he's kind of trying to control what's going on. Callen decided to ensure that what's in the city won't leave the city, and thus set the entire, essentially the walls and the buildings near the walls of the city on fire, so that it would burn from the outside in, essentially.
Yeah, it seemed that most of the leaders had secreted themselves away to the Cloister. Some self-proclaimed prophet, call it the sinner, and the actual captain of the city guard as well, the Fuhrer.
Yes. Lots of people that we don't know where they went. Poor guard Kurt. Who knows what happened to him? He's probably bug food.
Yeah, I was about to say worm food. And the former ruler Altair's medic was pretty much the only one that we noticed giving a crap. Trying to save the city, but even he thought it was beyond reproach. Hence our little, let's go ahead and scorch this place to quarantine it.
Indeed. He didn't have the, air quotes, authority to burn it down, so we did it for him. And now are on our way out, one of the last spots that isn't on fire, which will be set on fire on the way out.
Alright, so when we last left off, you guys are heading towards the last remaining gate.
Yeah, I think we were just
The
getting
two of you
there.
were together. Was, God, sorry. Was it just the two of you alone, or was, the good
No, I think it
old
was like
doctor?
all of us. Like, so it was us, the doctor, and pretty much the people he was bringing to like go up to the cloister. I believe it was.
Yeah, I think there was an original intent was to go to light the one
Yep.
last fire and then make our way to the cloister to root out what I suspect to be the cause of all this to begin with.
Yep. So basically us, him, and the forces he assembled of people that can actually do things that aren't completely inept. Hopefully. We'll find out.
Alright, so we'll kick it off from there. Jump right into things you guys have just passed by. The governor's home, where you know he lies dead.
Yes.
Made your way through the city as smoke fills the air. You can smell the burning of wood and bodies and blood, drowning out the sounds of insect wings that you had previously heard on your way into the city.
Yeah, Magnus's disposition in general is rather sour and bitter. He's quietly cursing amongst the crackling embers in the distance. He really wishes he had his explosives.
Yes. Callen kind of follows along towards the back end of the group, of course. Another torch ready to light when needed. His face covered by one of his breathing masks. A simple cloth, but it does the job. Kind of keeping an eye on everyone that is coming with, and noting who straggles behind and who marches ahead.
Yeah, every now and then you see people peel off from the group that was amassed. You actually catch one mid-act trying to sneak away. He makes eye contact with you and sort of second-guesses himself and continues to follow. You guys continue to make your way to the city wall. You're approaching the last gate. Is there anything you want to do before you head out?
Callen kind of stays just far enough behind, making sure that pretty much everyone is out, kind of waving them through essentially, so that they think he's just like keeping track of it. And once he knows everyone's through and well enough out of the gate, he kind of throws that last torch up to one of the more flammable looking buildings nearby to cut off the final exit.
People watch as the city they were born in, they've lived their lives, probably the entirety of, burns. They watch as your last little Molotov or makeshift incendiary device torches the exit or the entry. Carmino turns to the two of you. We know what we have to do, but I'm not sure if these folk are up for the task. Unless maybe you have some inspiring words to set a fire under their asses.
Well, I don't suppose it went all that well last time, but things could be tried. Not sure it's needed, though. As long as they get the job done, what happens to them is not really a concern.
Magnus kind of just shrugs and looks back and just speaks loud, but he's not going to get out of his way to make sure everybody hears. And he's like, looks at him, he's like, encouraging words. Says, the man responsible for the death of your city lies there, and he'll point out towards the cloister. There's not much else to say. Let the fuel of vengeance fire your hearts.
Yes. Suffice to say, there's many ways all of you could die today. But if you do things well, and if you follow with us, it will not be to a horde of insects in a burning city. I expect you all to do quite well.
And people are murmuring to themselves. You can see another group splitting off from you. Seems to be with women and children, a couple men. Seem to be heading in an opposite direction.
Callen kind of keeps a particular eye on them, kind of looking for any hint of what would be the typical, burn symptoms and stuff before he kind of just shakes his head and looks to the rest. Regardless, those who are brave enough will live on as heroes. And, given the state of the city, heroes will be needed to rebuild. And most likely become quite rich in the process.
Once again, there's some murmuring, and then once everything settles down, there's about 5 city men remaining with 5 or so. Nothing too impressive, just your average citizen.
Callen kind of looks toward Carmino and Magnus and, well, not my best, but I'm not in a particularly good mood given the burning city full of insects.
Magnus will try his best to remember the initial layout of the Cloister. I'm assuming the entrance is castle-like-ish, maybe. Like a defended gatehouse or something.
You make your way up the mountain, and there's an entrance with a bridge, not a bridge, with a gate you can lower and enter, and there's like a courtyard, some stalls, some houses, and a gate, and that's as far as you lot went. Angus was able to explore a bit more.
Yeah, Magnus, as they're traveling onwards, the group of women and children spring off. He'll look, raise an eyebrow, but when he sees what they are, women and children, nod approvingly, keep marching forward. Eventually, as y'all progress, go, what is the plan then? So we not just simply throw ourselves at the gates. He'll look towards Callen and he goes, do we wish to use your silver tongue to try and draw them out? Or do we go in under stealth? He'll look to the other 5 men around. Well, as much stealth as we can muster.
Yes, well, it will be dangerous. The issue is not knowing quite what to expect. Silver tongue doesn't help if you don't know the words or who you're talking to.
He'll shrug, go, tell them the people are dying. They need them.
Yes, and if they've been taken by such zealots that do not care, I imagine it may well just result in a hail of gunfire over the walls at me. You never know.
Magnus will nod, adjust his rifle in his hand, kind of like taking praise at it. It says, well, that's much is already given. I assume if we approach and they start firing or lobbing weapons at us, then we already know our answer.
Yes. We'll stem the tide one way or another with the city in its current state. But if the Cloister is as bad as what was going on there, we are in grave danger, as is this entire region. If only there were... Callen kind of looks to Magnus and Carmino. Do you think there's any way to encircle them, the ones attacking the city, the insects? Ensure that they burn along with it?
You said you came from the other side, so you would know. How bad is it? I was in the center of that thing when it kicked off.
Well, suffice to say it's not good. The issue is I don't know if there's anything we can actually get close enough to ignite.
The houses we encountered just to the east were not that badly infected. It seemed to get worse the further east you went from there.
Yes. Yes, I suppose a controlled burn may be suitable. The forest will recover, I'm sure.
Well, we can talk about this all day, but you gotta get there first. You said you know a way.
Yes. The way we came in particular is on fire, but as long as we pull away from the city and take our time edging along the forest, we should be fine.
You, he points at Magnus, you look like the expeditionary sort. Think you can lead the way?
Points to me.
You know, with your gear.
Yeah, this is nothing special. We just kept our heads down low and scouted ahead. Says, I will lead.
Alright, how close are you gonna keep towards the city wall, and how close are you to the forest?
Didn't we just come out the gate that we came in?
Or we just came out this one. We had kind of slipped in here, right? I think is where we actually got in last time.
And you're like, oh, we burned our entrance.
Yeah, and it was like, oh, we'll have to go through this one, and so we're a bit further off, is all. But this area should have less insects in general because there were less over there already. This far away, it shouldn't be a huge issue compared. Then again, it's been most of a day while we've been lighting everything on fire, so.
Yeah, I'd do my best to keep out of rifle range from the wall.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, so I imagine probably something like kind of up here, kind of skim along the forest or some such. Without getting too close to any particular buildings, I guess.
Yeah.
Aside from, the ones we know had less stuff in.
Yeah, because we originally came through like something like that.
Yeah, I think last time we kind of basically just cut straight through.
Yeah.
From there to the entrance. And we knew there were insects there feeding on corpses.
That would be my ideology, is to basically try to hoof it in double time to get back to the closest original path we had.
Yeah, and that way we stay kind of close enough, right, to where if we have to, we could always bolt for cover in the forest.
The forest was a bad thing, if memory serves correct. That's what they were warning us about.
Yeah, well, I mean, mostly from this way, potentially. We don't really have any confirmation if they've already infested this area yet. If we're lucky, the northern forest and the western, areas aren't really quite as bad. But it's very likely by now, given most of a day, since we saw insects there already, they've probably spread more. So I think, yeah, pretty much a good in-between is, ideal. Even then, cover is generally, better, just in case. If we have to run, at least then we can hide. Well, then again, it's insects, so, but you know how it is. But yeah, if you think that suits, then I think that's probably about right. Maybe a bit more like that, yeah. Cool.
Alright. See, you said you're double timing?
Well, to make up for the distance between this gate and the gate we came in from.
Yeah. So as you guys trudge along at a decent pace, some of the less athletic of your group seem to be tiring out easily. You can hear heavy breathing from behind you. Carmino has no problem keeping up with your pace.
Yeah, if they're starting to labor, then yeah, I would stop long enough and look highly agitated. Wait for them to catch their breath.
Maybe about like a 30-minute trek or so, you get to familiar territory, the farmland, buildings that you recognize.
Yeah, relay the information pretty much. Yes. This is very familiar now. Start pointing. He says, we made a vase with some of the buildings there. Always looking before we moved.
Yes. I imagine it will be more dangerous by now. They've probably finished their meals. Then again, those fools did go charging out, so perhaps there's more.
Just gonna trudge right by it.
Do like before, scout the way ahead first. Tell everybody try to keep low and keep, stealthy.
Yeah, make sure we stay quiet.
Yeah, as you tiptoe your way across the land, you notice the corpses that are there from earlier either moved slightly or been completely drained of meat and blood. Husks, really, now you look at it. Though there don't appear to be many insects remaining.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
at
probably
all.
food source is gone, so they move.
You see people behind you getting nervous now, probably reconsidering their choice as you trek forward.
I'll get that out of the way.
Yeah, I have such a crap charisma. My words of confidence are not going to be very appealing. It's going to.
Ah, yes, those bodies had more blood.
Yeah, if you don't want to wind up like that, stay close. Do what we tell you.
Yeah, exactly.
25 matches.
Callen just fucking rolled the, deception. Oh, don't worry, that wasn't the bugs, that was the vampires.
Vampires!
Another, 30 minutes again, so an hour in total. You get to the crossroad.
The roads over this way still looking pretty clear, or
Over which way?
just kind of generally, once we actually, hit road.
Yeah, that second building complex was somewhat occupied by bugs.
As you pass through that similar scene, they seem to have moved on from their meals. As far as you can tell, you can't see any insects on the road.
Yeah, Magnus would have thrown a caution up as they approached the second building, and upon the lack of insects, he would kind of get a little lost in thought, and he's gone, this is either fair and better than hoped for, or we are about to approach something.
Yes. It is worrying. I
Look
can't
back
imagine.
to the city. He'll look back to the city too. He goes, my biggest fear is that the flames would drive them out and back into the forest.
Well, one way or another, I suppose things will be done. My concern is towards the Cloister. If the insects have infiltrated it and cleared people out before they could escape, then we may just be walking into a time bomb.
We can do nothing more than make our way up the path. Carefully, first sign of trouble, we deal with it accordingly.
Yes. It will be dangerous. We'll have to keep low and quiet the whole way.
Just how low and quiet are you going? Gonna need a roll.
Yeah.
Stealth.
Being all sneaky, eh?
Ba-ba-da-ba. Hey, I got a success. Fucking hell.
Yeah, it's good enough. You didn't botch. Two
Yeah.
successes, 2 ones.
Just have really padded soled Crocs or something. I don't have no skill. I just trudge.
Yeah, I see that. Fucking hell.
So you guys make your way up the beaten path. The higher you get, the more buzzing you can hear. Familiar, the sounds of the city. But you still don't see any yet.
The buzzing's getting louder as we go up.
Yep.
Callen will kind of slow his pace and kind of look to Carmino. Carmino, have you ever had the pleasure of heading Franca's way?
Spent a lot of my younger days there.
Yes, I myself spent some time with your order there. Suffice to say, this sounds far too similar.
If they've infested the Cloister, then no one should be alive.
Unless they're returning home to the...
Yes. Unless whatever is driving them is up there. Were you able to get contact out to the order?
More than a week's away out. Won't be having any support anytime soon. By then it'd be too late. Whatever's causing all this would have left. And I would have failed at my job.
I'm not so sure. I think it more likely they'll nest here. The cloister is well defendable, and the ruins of the city should be fine enough for them.
They'll breed, their numbers will multiply, and they'll strike again.
Yes.
Once the fires die down.
Suffice to say, we'll need to make sure that they send ample forces to wipe this out.
Yeah,
If they get a foothold here, we are doomed.
Magnus is definitely, he's cursing out loud. It's basically the Scheiße that took my explosives. We could use such things.
Yeah, Callen has a bit of a kind of a revelatory face, essentially. Yes, actually. Now up here is kind of taller and essentially would lead down to the cloister, yeah? Or is the cloister kind of its own peak?
Cloister's at a peak, definitely a high point. I don't know if you would have gotten a good look. Oh, yeah, you can see mountain in the back.
If we could cause a collapse down onto the cloister, or cause part of the cloister to collapse down, that might give us an opening. Although, sadly, yes, without the explosives, that's... well...
It's just a reference, you've seen it before.
oh, yeah. Yes, without the explosives, I don't think we will be able to do much. It's a shame.
Just gonna make a quick edit to this. It's not very accurate.
Yeah, it looks about right. I was just gonna say, yeah.
Man, you could have, like, dumped an animated fire gif on there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man.
remains. With this manpower, you turn to see some of the people like dry heaving from the fucking trek. Probably dehydrated from the fire and the smoke.
That's why you carry 2 water skins. Hmm.
I'm not sure if this is a battle we can win.
To be honest, I am not either. If we go up there and it's infested, then we stand no chance. It is that simple. We do not have the gear or the supplies to do this. If we had the explosives, perhaps we could collapse part of the cloister. But as is, we'll walk in and they'll eat us alive. There is... We could attempt a trek up past the cemetery, march over the mountain, and down towards the cloister. But...
That would take days.
And Magnus his head. He's like, 9. He says, 9. None of us here have repelling gear. And he'll look back at the wheezing guards and he says, they would never make it.
We don't even have enough supplies to do that. Not enough water or food. Or time.
Yes, well, suffice to say, I won't be able to persuade insects into letting me in. If it were guards, then that'd be another thing, but... As is, this is not good. If we were able to get in somehow, and try and light the place, at least, then we could ensure some of it would burn.
What was stored in the cloister? They have fuel supplies.
They must. There's no way they wouldn't.
An oil mill? Yeah. Pretty sure they have fuel.
The place would go up quite well. The only issue is it's a suicide mission.
At that, a couple of dry heaving members of your party sort of look up at you.
What, I'm not telling you to run in there. We're trying to figure out what would work. Calm down.
I mean, it's not really our problem now. We could just leave.
Yes, you could run off without this battalion and see how quickly the insects eat you.
Oh, we just came from that way. Want none?
Yes, not now. But soon. And also, he kind of points to the battalion's staff. If anything had come, he would have noticed. Without him, you wouldn't know.
What do you suppose we do then?
Well, I think you wait, and we figure out what the best option is, and we try to both survive and kill all of the enemy. It's that simple. Either we die, or we die killing them. Or we get lucky, and we kill them and escape.
Those don't sound like good odds.
Well, that's because they're not. And if nothing else, let yourself on fire before you die. It might make it a bit less, well, disgusting at least.
We won't know anything until we get closer. He'll look down and spit towards the forest. So if we had some of the oil from the oil mill that burns that whole damn forest, you'll look up, and I'm assuming we can, whatever the hell the Elysial Gardens are, can we see those, or are they walled off?
The leasing guards are walled off.
Yeah, we'd have to go up to the cloister and then kind of down to those a bit, which would be, yeah. If we can get in, I'm sure we can start some kind of fire, something suitable, and the place will go up like a matchbox. But if he kind of stares off a bit, if they have various problems that Franca has, they will find us if we run. No matter what, no matter how far we go, they will know. So then, what's the plan? As far as I see it, we could charge in there and do our best to light as much as we can on fire and at least take some of them with us. The problem is, the ones that were attacking the gate, if they've not moved up there, they will be down there and they'll spread themselves.
I'm assuming, is Carmino and or battalions in general the type to basically die trying to prevent this stuff? Or
Yeah. Well, it depends on the... I guess it depends on this battalion, but generally speaking, doctrine-wise, yeah.
because I know he's expressed some sort of adamancy of making sure it doesn't go. I just trying to go off of the proper gut instinct. Basically this one's not going to take retreat for fucking ants.
Mm. How about this? Before we head all the way up, let's scout down near the forest, near the entrance that was attacked before. If there are any there, we can go from there. Start a fire along the edge of the forest. I imagine there's probably a great deal of them. If there are, then the forest fire will help. If nothing else, it may smoke all the way up to the cloister, which will help put the insects off it.
For not the smoke, simply drive them to a new location.
Perhaps. But if they've gathered in the cloister, it's for a reason.
If they're gathering, we need to take out the source. The thing calling them.
Yes. Which, presumably, judging from the buzzing, is in the cloister. If we can at least hamper them, like with a forest fire's worth of smoke, then, at least then, we might be able to stand a chance. The forest will heal in time. And if there's any more down below, that will help take care of them.
Do you have what it takes to set the woods on fire?
I don't know. I've never quite set a forest on fire before. I imagine you just light a line of trees and let it go.
Try getting on top of a hill, lighting one tree on fire and letting it roll.
I don't know, there's an idea. Or better yet, yes, do that, light several logs on fire, throw burning pieces just all over the place and let it go. Yes, one way or another, lots of fire,
You gotta be
throw
sure
it
not to
and let it do its thing.
be consumed by our own flames. Smoke will get you before the fire does.
Yes, well, that's why we do it at the edge of the forest, isn't it? Well, I think it's an idea. It's better than just charging up there as is. And I doubt it'll take all that long. So then, Shall we?
Lead the way.
Yeah, Callen will adjust himself, kind of look over the ones that are following us, and kind of nod his head the way we're going and start marching.
So if you're going off the beaten path, it's a lot harder to traverse, you know. Lots of rocks and trees and odd dips and crevices.
Keep eyeing that path up, because my main concern is to try to reconnoiter close enough to see if it's even worth going up to the cloister. But that damn path curves. There's no straight up line of sight that
Yeah. Man.
Feel free to move your token, whichever way you're heading.
Yeah, so basically, like, it looks like this is kind of, like, the darker bit is the more thick forest aspect, so that's kind of Callen's intent, is go up to kind of the scout this way a little bit downhill, find a suitable spot that we can light that will kind of move down and spread across there.
I mean, if you want to send something down, you'd have to go deep, you know? It gets higher the deeper you go.
Well, that's what we were thinking, is like, because like over this way, right? If we, because this is already kind of elevated up here, so if we like light one of the trees that are around us on fire and like start, get it properly burning, and then like let it roll downhill, into more lines of trees, that should succeed in starting it to kind of blaze that way.
Let's see if you can gauge. Give me a
We'll
roll.
just have to look for, I imagine it might actually take a bit, because we'd have to look for kind of dead trees or
Maybe a
something
survival
similar.
roll,
something.
yeah.
my biggest
Gathering and building fires and...
Cool.
yeah, because it takes a lot of effort to get a good bonfire going, and even
Yeah.
then you're still hoping that the other trees catch and spread, and their overhang is enough to continue burning everything.
Yeah, to fall into the next and kind of just keep
Yeah.
going.
Getting rather late now.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's like, yay, we killed a 30-foot area radius.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we gotta actually get something big enough going. So yeah, here goes. Yeah, it's not a complete thing.
Survival.
Hey, he knows what he's doing.
You guys trek through the forest. It takes a couple of hours to find a suitable spot, gather some supplies. You're working deep into the night. Hunger starting to get up, catch up to you. Thirst, maybe.
Yeah.
As you guys begin to reconvene at your selected location, you notice that one of your workers hasn't returned.
Callen kind of takes note of the condition of the ones left over. Well. At this point, have we managed to start the fires, or just like
You
set
gather
them
all
up?
supplies,
Yeah. Okay, cool.
You found a suitable location to have it go down where you think it'd work.
Yeah, upon seeing the missing person, Magnus will inquire from the others. You're there. Says, where's the one, the other man, with the pock face and the helmet?
Oh, well, Henry, who's the odd man out. We went in groups of 2 and there are 5 of us. I ain't seen him in a while.
Which direction did he go?
Oh, in the trees, sort of just points. You guys are in a thicket now. These are like large trees, hard to really make out much of anything. Just forest.
Well, keep an eye out that direction while we get things set up. Have we heard much of anything or seen any kind of movement in the forest while you've been doing this?
You've noticed that trails of insects have been sort of heading towards the cloister but been ignoring you. Something like small ants and spiders and mosquitoes of some sort.
Mm,
They seem to be gathering from each end and making their way that way.
yeah.
Yeah, they're being summoned to get a nest or something. And why would the damn center and the Fuhrer go rushing there? I told you this would happen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, lunatics tend to do quite mad things, so.
Now, it would be funny if they went there and they go, "Ha, we're safe," and then
Uh,
It's coming up on midnight soon.
oh shit! If you're going to need this fire just to see,
yes. Well, I imagine given how things are, it may even be best to rest up at some point, but we would lose any initiative we might have.
set fire to the woods and take a nap next to it. No.
Yeah, no, like, not particularly next to it, but... Mm. Yes. There is always the position uphill we stayed at before.
That was all the way over there.
Oh no, he means last night when we were like halfway up and we were like there. That way at least we're up on a rocky area that they can't really... Yeah, like, the fire won't spread.
At this point, even Carmino's a bit tired.
Yeah, I was about to say, if we're going to do this, light the damn thing and let's get away as far as possible.
Yes, we best get going. Callen then kind of begins setting up torches and stuff and lighting whatever line we have set up to kind of cascade and ignite the rest.
Yeah, it'd probably be like splayed out kindling low to the ground towards the base of trees.
You guys splay out your... You guys attempt to start your wildfire. Yeah. And,
All it takes is a
You're-
12-year-old flicking a cigarette butt down here in the summertime.
Right?
your materials catch ablaze and you begin rolling them down. You can see bushes and trees begin to catch a bit. You see the logs roll down, bouncing here and there. And one of you give me a final survival check to see how successful this is, I guess. Unless you have any idea what to roll.
Yeah, probably Magnus. Callen's good at fishing, not, forest fires. Oh,
That's a botch.
Yeah.
So as you're rolling the logs, one of them goes off a little steep incline and bounces the wrong way and begins spreading in the direction you came from. You have enough time to really get out of here before it gets going, but if you wait around too long, you might be trapped.
well,
Yeah, that's definitely massive cussing in German.
well, regardless, let's get moving quickly.
Ja, und schnell! Make haste! We don't want to burn.
Alright, now... This is... I mean, you have light now, I suppose, but... Yeah, you'll be fine. The fire manages to illuminate some of your path, and you guys can make your way back. As the smoke fills in the air, you can see trees burning. Where are you heading?
I mean, Callen's up for finding a good rocky position with cover uphill a bit, that we don't have to worry about anything spreading to. So that way we don't have as far to march, and that way we can also then move on quick.
Yeah, because I'm looking at it, we're literally like, now we're in the middle of two burning things.
Yeah,
And our gas tanks are on E, so
yeah, basically.
energy wise.
It's gonna be like a really shitty march back up towards the path, but far enough away from it.
You got to take into account too wind direction and smoke inhalation. That kill you
Yeah,
in a heartbeat.
yeah, we gotta make sure we're in a good enough spot that's got some cover as well. Fuck it. So yeah, I suppose we head back up towards the path and look for a good spot.
Yeah, you guys begin your trek. Someone in the back collapses and his friend tries picking him up, and they're sort of struggling to keep up. Maybe another 15 minutes on your way back. You hear echoing from the cloister a really loud, guttural, shrill scream, and it echoes and it lasts for a good 10 seconds. It reverberates down the mountain.
I think Queen Bee just woke up.
Yeah. Wow. Killen kind of looked towards the doctor and his staff. Well, that does not sound good.
That don't sound like no ferromancer I know.
What do you think is going on up there?
Nothing good, I can tell you that. You see him take off his glasses and sort of like put his fingers between his nose, the bridge of his nose and his eyes, rubbing it. It's about actually midnight now. It's a new day.
Well, honestly, I don't know if any of us have any means of continuing on far enough to get there and go through whatever kind of mess is waiting for us without rest. What do you say? Find a good position, rest up, and then head up, or should we attempt to do this now?
Rest up. You just set a fucking forest on fire. The smoke's gonna rise. Where do you plan on resting? If we're gonna smoke the cloister, we'll smoke ourselves out first.
True. Well then, I guess we head up.
Input, Magnus? What are you thinking?
Yeah, it's not what we just about to say. Just sleeping between two fires. We'd be dead before we ever woke. He'll yawn, stretch, crane, and crack his neck. He says, if we are truly meant to put an end to this, then up we should go. If not, he'll look down the other path. He goes, we find somewhere else to go and wait for reinforcements. The latter does not seem to be a feasible plan. You said The other battalions are too far out, and to return back to the fortress would take days, weeks, even.
Yes, I suppose we do need to deal with this now.
They may not be battalions, but there are other cities nearby.
Yes, well, I imagine someone will catch note of the smoke on the wind, given the fact that the city's going, and now the forest is as well.
So, I suppose we march onward towards our deaths.
Well, I suppose it's a good enough way to go out.
Even if we only get close enough to truly see what it is we are facing.
Yes. If worse comes to worse, I will try and escape and send word of your bravery.
Alright, you guys make your way back to the path and begin heading up the winding, twisting road. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fatigue setting in, so
Yeah,
you're
you're all
constantly
very tired, thirsty, the smoke's getting to your lungs, coughing, the people are now more of a burden than anything. They're very slow walkers.
Yeah, Callen's not particularly making any attempt to wait for him, so...
need them to throw at the bugs.
Make your way up the winding path. The cloister's gates, you can see now swarms of flying insects and bugs strewn out across the place, but the actual entrance, the actual gate, there's a path just open. They don't seem to be going through there. They seem to be waiting for something.
So it's like,
Hovering.
so if I just kind of... So it's basically like they've kind of swarmed like this and like this, basically. Kind of like...
on the sides of the gate, sort of like leaning, like a... Like if it was a procession on either side, there'd just be swarms and swabs of insects.
But they've basically left a corridor all the way in.
Oh yeah.
Come into my parlor, said the spider to the fly.
Well... What do you say? Are you ready?
Say if they were meant to kill us, we would already be dead.
Oh, they probably intend to do far worse than kill us.
He'll poke his rifle into the back side of Carmino, and you go, your cause, battalion. Do we press ahead into the unknown and most disturbing? Or do we turn and live to fight another day?
He looks around. The smoke's making its way up here, but the fire hasn't gone full out yet. It's still gonna take some time. I'm not sure if they disperse even if we smoke them. We all know what's ahead.
Well, the question is if we can actually take everything out with us.
All of that? I'm running low on fuel and not sure how effective your knives will work. And he looks at some of the guys that are just carrying random, like a butcher's knife. They're also just like fucking strung out. I mean, they're done. They're running on zero.
Something is leading in all these. Be it a man, if we could kill him. Be it a giant bug, could possibly kill it.
Yes, well, unless we can ignite the entire place, we won't succeed at much.
Where else would we go? I don't think I can even make it back down to Lucatore.
That's just what I was thinking myself.
Well, down the other side of the mountain and up through, find somewhere safe enough to gather some food and such. But regardless, I don't think it would be all that well anyway.
It's my duty to eliminate the plague anywhere I see it. But this seems more like a worthless sacrifice. Won't even be able to make a dent in it.
Yes, we need far more incendiaries of some sort. Yes. Even if we were to get in, if any of us did try and start setting things alight, I imagine they would tear us apart before we had a chance. Or simply just dive in and smother it.
There appear to be any dead bodies through the gate or anything like that.
Any corpses? Oh, through the gate, or looking through, like the... Yeah.
Yeah,
Let me take you back
From
to
what we
that
can see from a
screen.
distance, yeah.
signs of confrontation.
Oh, yeah. You can tell that the main gate has been torn apart by something. You can see remnants through the insects of just metal scraps and crumpled wall. Something very large and strong or explosive maybe made its way through.
That's one thing. If it looked like the cloister was actually sieged, as opposed to they're just out there chilling on the sides of the cloister, no signs of conflict or anything inside.
Yeah, waiting for things to get in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, personally, I'd rather not be a Hive Queen's mate, so I'm quite happy to start heading somewhere else. I don't really care where. I was hoping things would be better by now, but there's no point in a suicide mission if there's no success in it. No meaning.
Fires are spreading. Since I do not know, do we even have what it takes to make it down the hill? These men are already bug food, it looks like. They can go no further.
Yes, well, this is as it is. Well, I think we perhaps head down the road towards Undering, perhaps, towards the other mountain. Circle south from there, down through the farmsteads, take what we need, and then try and get in contact with the nearest battalion forces. They need to know exactly how things have gone down. Besides, as you said, that doesn't look exactly like the work of a ferromancer, does it?
Certainly all the bugs.
Well, yes, but not the gate. Or whatever the fuck made that sound. I quite hate the bugs, but charging in there without any means of actually getting rid of them isn't exactly holding any point. There's no meaning to it. Unless we know that we can remove most of them, if not all of them, there's literally no point in doing so. Unless, of course, we want to do that to make sure we don't die on the way down the hill. One way or another. Heading down the hill, getting out of here. At least then we have a chance to fight them again. If we go in there now, we will die. We will not succeed, and nothing useful will happen. We can at least give information to whoever we find.
I don't like it, but I definitely can't do it alone.
Well, I don't think you could do it with us and half of what was left of the city.
We have gained intelligence upon the situation and enemy. It says right now we must deal with the immediate. We either choose to die heroes or we find someone to relay the intelligence to. I just pray we have the strength to make it down and away from this infernal smoke.
Yes.
Well, he yawns. If that's the decision, I'm not gonna argue it this time.
Unless you have a better idea.
I can't say that I do.
Very well then. And Callen kind of readjusts everything and kind of adjusts his little kind of face mask and stuff. He's basically got two of them. He's kind of got wrapping up pretty much the entire lower half of his face now, so that really makes it block off as much of the smoke as he can.
Alright, let me get a stamina roll from you guys. Marching for hours. Should have been using that.
Come on,
Look
Callen,
at
you can do it.
Magnus.
Hey, he didn't completely fuck it.
Magnus, you've been trained to go on long rocks without sleep.
Yeah, fucking
It's
hell.
just another day in the job for you. Callen, not as accustomed to this, but you manage. Carmino struggles, but manages to keep up with you as you guys make your way back down to the farmstead, stables. The one who had collapsed earlier collapses again and refuses to move. His friend tries dragging him, but he runs out of energy and he slowly follows you. Leave a man behind.
Yep. Callen kind of almost looks at him with pity. Well, he, almost. He's mostly kind of looking to see if he has anything useful on him, but I imagine if he's collapsed, he's already used whatever it would have been.
Yeah, Magnus adopts his French Foreign Legion mentality. Looks back and then looks forward.
So where are you heading? You burnt down all the...
Yeah, I was about to say.
City.
Oh, well, there's nowhere in the city. Callen's idea is, at this point,
Manure Hill,
getting out and,
farmsteads.
basically,
You do know
is,
manure is flammable, right?
no. Yeah, I was just gonna say, actually, if we, technically, Callen would have no fucking idea, right, at all. But technically speaking, we could probably make something pretty incendiary out of all that, I'm sure. Make little methane bombs of some sort. But yeah, so basically, like, Callen's idea is to kind of go around this way, pillage what we need from the actual farmsteads, and just get the fuck out. and get help, and then come back and kill things, if that's an option. If everything isn't already completely fucked and gone by then.
Weeks for reinforcements?
Yeah, exactly.
You
We have no idea
guys
what it's doing or what is actually there. So
commit to your trek. It goes to long, maybe 3 a.m. by the time you get to where you need to get. Far enough away from the burning city and the noise and the death. Before
much
you
death.
guys...
Yeah, I imagine by this point it's very obvious to Carmino that it's not just the burn line we had made, that the entire city is on fire.
Yeah. Definitely would have noticed at some point. Maybe as you're approaching the wall from which you exited, you'd be like, huh? What's going on?
Yeah. It's like, oh, well,
I mean, he was
fuck,
there
it
when you
must have
burned
spread.
the exit, you know? He was there when you lit on fire, I remember that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that was the entire point. Light it all on fire and sure it all burned.
You guys can make it to the farmsteads. There's a large crowd formed. They seem to be watching as their city and their livelihood burns.
Mm.
But you're at your wit's end, really. You're all exhausted from the long day of walking around, trekking, and burning shit.
Yeah. I don't suppose they have any, probably won't have much in the way. Well, he'll kind of address Carmino and Magnus. Perhaps we find a spot a little bit out of the way and hunker down for the night. Then we can get a move on. I imagine if anything comes, it'll get to the crowd before us, and we'll hear it.
I guess that's the plan. I just need some sleep.
Yes, I think the entire city does. Oh, at least most of it'll get it.
You guys find a nice little secluded spot you can keep to yourselves, and you're gonna call it a night?
Yep, Callen will kind of pull some kind of,
but
bean can string shit, right? With Magnus's help, I presume.
this ain't 8 hours sleep. This is military style. Fucking short bursts.
Plans to wait around till reinforcements arrive?
Well, really, kind of get out of Dodge and go get reinforcements and bring them, if nothing else.
How far is the closest city or village or anything?
Probably a couple days before you can hit. It wouldn't be a major city, it'd just be an outlying village type thing. Like an outpost.
Yeah, an outpost. At least send the knowledge to them, see if they have a relay station. I could try to contact the fortress.
Yeah. Say.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea, actually. Hire a bunch of fucking Helvetics to come in. Then you'll fucking take care of the problem.
Maybe a couple days, you guys walk along the path, reach an outpost. It's a nice little place. They haven't seemed to have noticed. They've noticed the lack of influx of people from Lucatore. They greet you, they welcome you in. There's no weird time of morning going on here. There's a radio station. You use the Cloister to contact people. Make your reports. Reiterate the need for backup.
Yeah, definitely inform them. Inform them first of all who I am. Wait for them to accept confirmation. Report the reason for my delay or absence. Situation report. What went down in Lucatore. Up until the point of what's currently going on. I'm assuming that this is what'd you call it, a burn infestation or something?
Yeah.
Although
at this point, there's
nah.
A
at this
spore,
point, it's
yeah.
way past that. Like,
Yeah,
he would have heard the Spitalion mention a Ferromancer, so...
Yeah, telling battalions we said we spent 3 days out, but they said they were at least a week away. He says, but definitely, because the Helvetics have pretty decent rapport with Anabaptist, if I remember right. Mainly
You
out
guys
of,
have come to arrangements.
yeah, let them know the situation and see, waiting for further, orders. Hell, they may just tell me to come home.
Your job's actually done, man. You've reported on your findings. They have been routing up the chain of command. They tell you it'll be taken care of. You come back and get ready for your next assignment. And if you want to contact anyone, Callen.
Yeah, I mean, it really depends. I mean, if he can get, like, a private radio, essentially, he'll, contact someone that contacts someone, right? Basically. To give them a lowdown of, hey, this battalion's lit the city on fire because it was infested, and apparently there's a Ferromancer and everything went to complete shit before he could find anything. And yeah, so, like, Lucatore has fallen, basically, is kind of the message he would send to someone else to relay back to his flock.
Carmino does the same, gets in contact with his people, updates them on the situation.
Yeah, I definitely let Carmino know that what I did as far as the Helvetics, so hopefully they'll have their support too.
I'm guessing Magnus wants to return to command, back on his travels.
If that's what the orders were, then yeah, I would have to. So I did all I could, my mindfulness. He says that my people are very aware of the situation. They appear to be sending help. As for myself, I have received no orders. I am to return to the fortress.
Well, I suppose you've done quite a lot of work. More than you had any real need to, so thank you.
It's funny. Yeah. It's all I've ever wanted to do is return to the fortress, but for now, I hate to see it.
Yes.
But nevertheless, we all have our orders. I shall follow them. Click his heels and nod to Carmino. As I bid you adieu, I pray the situation is handled. Turn to Callen, click his heels and nod forward. He says, I bid you adieu.
Yes, well, good luck in your travels. If you ever need a contact with more unsavory sorts, let me know. I might be able to help you with any other problems you face.
I shall take it under their advisement. I am not too hard to reach and contact, give them my name, serial number, however the hell you can identify somebody. It's a Helvetic.
Yes, I will make
One of
sure
the one of the relay op tried to, would most likely know what patrol I was on.
Yes, well, I will send a message down the line then. Ensure that someone knows how to contact someone who might be able to contact me. Good luck. Try not to die out there.
You as well. I wish you a safe journey. And may there always be someone be there watching your six.
Yes. And you.
Magnus goes a separate way, I guess. Callen, don't know if you want to hang around. Carmino plans on inspecting everyone who heads this way, checking them kills anyone who might be infected, waits for
Yeah.
reinforcements.
Yeah, Callen would actually help him with that. And would essentially be sticking around to help collaborate information to try and ensure this gets rooted out with this battalions.
You learn a lot of your time with Carmino. He's a very smart man. He teaches you some stuff, which will help you better blend in Italian culture next time you need to.
Hmm.
Um, Eventually, reinforcements do arrive. They properly cleanse the city and move up to the Cloister. I don't know if you're a part of that operation, but
Yeah, he'd help out if he could, if there was anything he could actually properly do.
I'm assuming they'd probably just tell you to keep out of the way, or just... No.
Yeah, in that
What
case
would
he
be
would
in
be
that?
kind of keeping watch over all of it and seeing what he what info he can gather, essentially.
You return to the Cloister that has been thoroughly destroyed. It's a hive of insects. You watch as a battle rages on between Helvetic support and Italians, and just killing everything in there. It's a bloody battle. Any secrets that may have been laying in the Cloister are probably consumed by the swarm. A downer.
Mm. My.
Anyways, thank you?
I'm so sorry. Yeah, it was a rough way to go out, but it just made so much sense.